Welcome, everybody, to this double episode review of House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 5 and 6, because I was delayed in Arizona because apparently we don't know how to fly without technology anymore, and Delta sucks. So, I was late, missed a couple episodes, but it's okay. We're here. We're going to talk about these two episodes. Probably talk about Episode 6 a little bit more than 5, but we're excited nonetheless, and with me, of course, I have my co-host, the resident channel Song of Ice and Fire expert, Caroline. So let's start with episode 5. Let's just rush through it here, or let's not rush through it. Let's talk about all the amazing, fun events that happen.
Name one event.
So fun.
Name one event that happens.
Allison gets a trauma, like a panic attack.
She gets a trauma.
It's a trauma. She gets a panic attack because she realizes that her terrible son is one of her many terrible sons. Actually, no. One of her two terrible sons is going to rule next.
Yeah.
As apparently the third one is okay. The third one's doing all right. All right, but anyway, we open with what was the tragedy of episode 4, which was Rhaenys' death. And in that same time period, we also learned that Aegon survived somehow. I mean, we knew that was the outcome. I was kind of surprised by how they've made him look in the show, because in the show, he looks like he'll recover. I don't know why, but to me, it's yeah, he's gonna be burned. Yeah, he's gonna be uncomfortable. But the idea of living a somewhat normal life, like a Bran type life, does not seem out of the question. But in the books, it's much worse. He has metal fused to his body. It's all messed up. So I was surprised how clean he looks in his hospital bed.
Well, talking about clean, they had to do hours of makeup on Tom. What's Tom's last time? Harry.
Yeah. Harney.
Hours of makeup for him to be doing one scene, but he does recover. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, it is even said in episode 6 that he sleeps every 9 hours of 10 or something. He's never I mean, I guess he gets better than that even later, but I don't know. I just thought, I don't believe that he's in as much pain as he's supposed to be in the book.
Well, let's remember that Aegon is a wimp.
Aegon is a wimp, I guess.
Right.
My man Ned Stark would have been on the throne the very next day. He would have been all like, all right, it's time to go.
If Daemon had to say that shit, he would be fine. The next day, he'd be like, and I'm still the king.
Don't forget.
Don't forget, but this is Aegon, so he's struggling.
And unfortunately for Aegon, and I guess the greater realm, so we've normally commented that the Green Small Council has it together more than the Black Small Council.
Mm-hmm.
But episode 5 was a bad episode for the Greens. It was not very well organized. They do not really know what they're doing. Lord Jasper is over here trying to manage a situation, and they're all not listening to him because no one cares about Lord Jasper. And
yeah, it's really a lack of cohesion.
Yeah.
Well, they agree on one thing.
They agree on one thing, and that is that there needs to be a new king. And, boy.
They need a basically.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. One, I think it is hilarious that Otto leaves. Otto's gone for a couple episodes, and in a couple episodes, all that he's worked for has just completely collapsed. It's just so unstable, the power he left behind. And then, now he's even desperate to be brought back by Aemon, who's oh, this is bad news bears, the situation we're in. We need an actual person here to deal with the domestic issues. But so they're trying to bring Otto back, but in the meantime, they need a new king, and it's time for the small council to vote on his replacement. And Sir Criston Cole is extremely silent about something that might have some influence on the voting.
Well, Allison puts herself forth as very confidently.
Yeah, dude, Allison really thought that she was just well, I ruled in my husband's stead, and look how great the realm was for all these years, and if I just had the opportunity to do it again while Aegon recovers, and everyone's like, nah.
Every single man at that council, every single one, either spoke against her or did not speak.
And the other thing is, like, because speaking of not speaking, what I was, like, hinting at before is that, like, if Kristen Cole had been like, hey, I was at the battle, and I saw Aemon absolutely torch our king, like, no mercy, burned him alive, like, I have a feeling that might have swung the vote a little bit. But, like, he didn't say a damn thing. He was like, all right, whatever. Sure, go ahead. Go ahead and ascend to the throne. Which I wonder if it's because he doesn't want to be Hand of the King anymore. And he's like, oh, you know, if Aemon's king, then I don't have to be Hand anymore because I'm bound to be Hand of Aegon, but not him.
True. I mean, we've also talked about how Kristen never seemed to want to be Hand of the King. He's just failed upward and accidentally is there now.
But what did you think of Alicent's surprise? Because it bothered me.
Girlie, if you're going to be sexist, you know that people are going to be sexist to you.
It was like, what did you expect? Like, even when they're talking to her, it's just like the whole background, the whole basis of the Civil War is that we can't have a woman ascend the throne. That's the whole reason we're fighting against Rhaenyra. If we thought a woman could ascend the throne, Rhaenyra would be queen right now. Like, what? Why on God's earth do you think that we're gonna pick you to be the... I'm just like, and she's just so confused by that. She's like, how could this be happening to me? My calculated plans. I'm like, shut up. You don't, like, what are you doing? And, like, don't get me wrong, the acting there was great. Like, you could really see the distress on her face, but I'm just like, it was the nerve to be upset or the nerve to be, like, stressed about it that I was like, what's going on? What did you think the outcome of this would be?
Because Larys points out, he says that our whole point is that a woman can't rule, so we need to put a man in charge.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, and this is my least favorite part of the episode, but Alicent is not the only one that's tripping. Because Daemon's adventures in Harrenhal continue.
Still.
He was so close to leaving. He was so close to leaving in episode 6, and Alice Rivers just draws him right back in, and God, I'm sick.
I don't understand because he's very paranoid at this point, and he even tries to threaten Simon Strong, and he's threatening all the River Lords, but he never seems to be suspicious of Alice.
Well, my theory on this, and maybe it's going to change, is that, like, he doesn't even support Rhaenyra's claim that much, because the idea of a woman having power to do something is, like, not even in his, like, ability to comprehend. So, like, why would he assume that this bastard girl of the Riverlands has any ability over him whatsoever? Like, he wouldn't even consider that thought for a second. Like, a girl doing this to me? Like, I don't even believe that Rhaenyra, a queen with dragons, is superior to me. And, like, now I'm like, he's just not connecting those dots. But we might have gotten in that episode the worst vision I've ever seen in my life.
The one with Patty?
No, that's episode 6. Episode 5 is Daemon and his mom.
What? Jared, I actually worked to forget that. Actively, I worked with myself to put that in a little box and store that away.
That was the worst one. That's the worst relationship in Game of Thrones history so far. That one was the worst scene ever. Thank God she's dead, because I don't want to, like, my God.
I'm just so over all of his dreams. I think maybe once or twice, I think it was intriguing, the first maybe couple of episodes. When they brought Millie back, I was so excited, right?
Yeah, it was looking really cool. And I didn't even like episode 6 flashbacks with Paddy Considine. I like to see him again as King Viserys.
Yeah.
But, like, these are doing nothing for me anymore.
No, they don't really add anything.
They're filler in an 8-episode season where so much still needs to happen, and I don't understand why we're getting so much.
I guess the writers just didn't know what to do with him.
They kind of forgot about Daemon's.
They kind of forgot. Well, I really do think the season will culminate in a battle between him and Crispin. So maybe, I don't even know.
But, okay.
Maybe we can see Daemon in action in the future, hopefully.
And Daemon's, so he was like my favorite character because like I was in season 1 because like he was getting stuff done.
Right.
And like whether you agreed with it or disagreed with it, he was doing something.
And he was interesting.
But like even this season, everything he's done has seemed to be wrong, which I find strange because unlike Aegon, who was presented as stupid, Daemon is not actually, he's supposed to be reckless, but I think there's a difference between being reckless and stupid. Like, I don't think that he's, like, how did he expect the Riverland situation to turn out?
Right.
Like, he gave the Blackwoods carte blanche to go do anything they wanted against House Bracken, and he didn't foresee war crimes. Like, what are you doing?
Well, he encouraged war crimes. I think he knew that war crimes would be committed, and he thought they would be subjugated, but instead it made them rise up again.
But did he not, like, did he not connect the dots that, like, the Blackwoods would be flying the Black Targaryen banner while they were committing the crimes? Like, how did you not see this coming?
He probably just doesn't understand. Like, it kind of shows that he only understands brutality. And he doesn't understand the importance of, like, Rhaenyra, like, being kind and working with people instead of against them.
You know, Rhaenyra is trying. She's trying so hard to keep it together at her council. Like, her council doesn't respect her. Her council doesn't like her. Her council doesn't care. Like, she's doing everything she can to try to keep that together, and it's not working. Like, she even sends Bela out to go make Corlys Hand of the King, just to try to like restore some order to the table, because now they're all like roasting her about like, oh, Rhaenys is dead, and what's her dragon? Not Meraxes.
Meraxes, no?
Is it? No, I don't think it's Merax. I don't know why I'm forgetting it.
Either that was not a good plan. The Black Council knows that they're losing and is obviously frustrated.
But it wasn't her plan. Like, Rhaenys is like, I'm gonna go with Meleys and we're gonna go handle Rook's Rest.
And yeah, that's true.
Like, volunteered in front of all of them. I mean, what is she supposed to do? Anyway, like, she sends Sir Alfred out to go figure out if Daemon is intending to build the army for himself or for Rhaenyra. I've noticed
that every time the Black Council is struggling, they talk to Rhaenyra and they say, well, what about Daemon?
Yeah.
It's the word on everybody's mouth. Well, what about Daemon? We need Daemon.
Well, so like, there's two lines of thought to this, right? So there's the obvious like sexist line of thought where it's like, we need a man to be in charge, right? But then there's the other line of thought that I'm also thinking about. It's like, this would be like, during the time like closer towards Game of Thrones, right? You know that a question that like Aerys the Second Targaryen was probably getting a lot would be like, what about Sir Arthur Dayne? Like, he is literally your best fighter on your side. Like, send him to go do something. You know, like...
No, Daemon is a really big asset, like just removing gender from it all.
Yeah, and I think they're like...
Okay, they would be asking about Daemon.
Yeah, because they're just like... we have this nuclear weapon in Caraxes, and then we have this like actual maybe top 5 fighters currently alive in Daemon, and you're telling me you have no contact with either of them? Like, what is going on? I'd be upset too. Like, I need to know that we have this powerhouse duo, or I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to the Great. Like, I don't know what we're doing.
Well, we are upset about Daemon not being fighting. You know, we're upset that Daemon's just like doing whatever he's doing in Harrenhal.
And this whole episode was people making plans behind like Rhaenyra's back. Like, Daemon has his plan. Like, Rhaena is having to like be in the Vale negotiating for things because like Rhaenyra really screwed Lady Jane Eyre on that deal.
We called that.
Yeah, I was like fleeced, man. He said, "Oh, great, Rhaenyra's so generous. She gave you two.
You have 2 dragons. Why are you upset?" And Lady Jane is just like, "What do you mean? I have 2 kittens. Like,
what am I gonna do with this? Like,
is going to the twins. We get to see the phrase.
I actually thought so. Like, I'm glad that this plan worked out. I don't trust the phrase at all, ever. I don't care who's in charge. Like,
Yeah,
I'm still not over the Red Wedding. Haven't forgiven them for Rob. So I'll never trust a Frey ever. I'm glad Arya ended that line.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that Rhaenyra wasn't upset with Jace when she came back. Because like that was not the order that she gave him. You know, she didn't give him any instructions. So it was like, why are you doing things behind my back? I would have been upset, but you know, like she has more patience with Jace than anyone else, which is understandable.
Yeah, she's patient, but she's also the queen, you know? Disobeying the queen should come with consequences. I thought it was also a little bit weak of Rhaenyra to just let that slide.
Go
ahead.
My biggest concern with that situation, though, like the thing that I'm worried about is that Jace does not have the authority to make that deal. Because the Freys want Harrenhal and they want Daemon's protection.
Right.
And he's not in a position to offer them Harrenhal or Daemon's protection because Daemon is rogue right now. Daemon is not listening to anybody.
Right.
So, like, this is not a smart move. Like, yeah, I guess it grants the Starks access through the twins, but, you know, like, I don't know. I'm nervous about that plan.
I mean, we'll have to see how it works out. I do hope they bring Daemon back into the fold somehow. Given what happened in episode 6, I think it's going to be hard for a reconciliation, but I hope they just bring him back in.
Do you think that this plan, though, that Jace has, the negotiating with the twins, might be what inspired Robb to think about marching the Stark armies through the twins? Because the twins are being open for the Starks to get into the Riverlands. So I'm wondering if like he was remembering this from history, being like, "Oh yeah, Jaehaerys did this move, and it got into the twins." I think that would be a cool connection, but I don't think that, like I said, I don't think it's going to go well. So.
No, I don't think Robb is actually that well read, but I do think that the Freys just control this very geographically strategic point. And so I don't think anyone allowed them to do that. I think they just showed up. Right?
But they're not that guy. Like, they're not a strong house. Like, if the Tullys wanted it,
no, they're
take it.
That's true. I mean, sometimes you don't have to be super strong. You just have to be able to, like, lay siege, you know, and survive that.
Yeah, I guess. I hate that they have such a nice position.
I mean, it's luck of the draw, right? They're not smart. They're not, although Sabbath of Frey made a good deal with Harrenhal.
Yeah.
They're not smart. They don't have dragons. They're nothing special. They just seem to
have a bridge.
They have a bridge.
That's what they got.
So now they have all this, like, leverage for no reason.
Okay. But now, because we already talked about Corlys getting handed the king, he tries to reject it at first. He's upset with Rhaenyra for letting Rhaenys die, but then Baela's like, "Get it together." Like, I think she was even like, "I'm sure the Greens would accept your support," or something. Like, he's just so like.
I hated Baela talking to Corlys. It felt like one of those, like, unearned strong girl moments. Like, I don't think anyone's going up to their grandfather and being like, "Sir, you are so strong." And what did she say? She says the most, like, cringiest young adult novel.
Oh, she said, are you talking about, like, why she can't inherit Driftmark?
Yeah, he's like, "I would give you Driftmark."
She's just like, I am fire and blood, and Driftmark must go to smoking salt or something.
Wilkins or something like that. It was just like really me. I feel like they aged her up too much. They just made her this. She's not really a character, in my opinion. She doesn't have a personality. She's just tough.
She doesn't have a lot of huge moments yet. I don't know when she'll start to get her moments, but like, I remember even when reading the book, I always enjoyed her sister's moments more than I enjoyed hers. Like, I enjoyed Rhaena's moments. I enjoyed Rhaena getting her dragon.
I think Rhaena has a very, I do connect with Rhaena more because Rhaena at least is like frustrated. She wants to be cool girl, you know? And she's frustrated that she's delegated to this like maternal kind of role. But Bela, like, her only character trait is brave and maybe like strong, I guess, which is just not really enough for me to connect with her in a meaningful way.
I think Bela's very much in like a very she's consistent in her role, which seems to be Rhaenyra's messenger.
Okay.
Anytime that Rhaenyra wants to send a message to anyone for some reason, it is Bela that's supposed to deliver the message. Bela, you go survey and tell me what you saw. Bela, you go send this letter here. Bela, you go do this. You go do that. Like, she's like an errand girl for Rhaenyra.
I mean, she has a role, but she's not a character, in my opinion.
As opposed to Jace, who does nothing except like when he decides he's going to go rogue, which two sides on that, you know, like I get Rhaenyra's like, I already lost one son. I don't need to lose another son. But like, you're also making the future king look really bad. So like, you got to give him something to do, you know, like it's kind of a rough situation for her.
He's definitely chafing underneath it. And I think he is a good piece of like, Rhaenyra should use him more, basically.
I also think that there's like a little bit of frustration that Jace is feeling. And I think it comes out a little bit in episode 6 as well, where he's just like, I wasn't able to save Luke. But like, I might be able to help you, Mom, and you need to let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's a lot of like frustration and like guilt there that he wants to like try to do right by helping his mom win the throne and getting it all back. Because the way I'm seeing it is that like, if his mom doesn't win the throne, then Luke died for nothing.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah. If Rhaenyra does not sit on the throne, then I lost my little brother for no reason. And like, he can't deal with that.
I do like how they're showing more dynamic between Rhaenyra and Jace, because it shows how Alicent definitely struggles with her sons, and it's nice to see kind of a foil on that, on how Rhaenyra struggles with Jace.
And the reason that I'm thinking that it's like so personal for Jace is because Jace tells Rhaenyra to consider doing something that the Targaryens have never considered, which is to give up their dragons to people that are not legitimate Targaryens.
Right. Which is kind of a scary move because the Targaryens are able, like, the reason that the Targaryens have a right to rule is because people believe them to be gods. They believe they believe the dragons to be gods, and they believe the Targaryens to be gods.
And when you have a weapon that no one else has, like, it's hard to stand up against you.
Exactly. So a Smallfolk person would obviously say, no, of course the Targaryens should rule. They have dragons. They have the right to rule us. But by opening it to the Smallfolk, or by opening it to anyone, all of a sudden it brings in the question, well, why should the Targaryens be in charge? Why couldn't it be any of us?
And that's why I feel like when the Jace suggesting that really like cements the idea that this is so much more than just a war for succession. Like, this is really personal for him. He's like, I don't care if I have to give up every single dragon in the dragon pit. People are going to die for killing my little brother. Like, they're not going to get away with this. And so, like, I'm interested to see how that's going to unfold. Actually, I know how that's going to unfold. I'm not going to spoil it.
I think they are going really different from the books.
You think so?
They really nerfed how evil Rhaenyra was.
They did really nerf how evil Rhaenyra was. Rhaenyra was doing some messed up stuff.
Like, Rhaenyra is just so likable as a character. And they really made Alicent, Aegon, and Aemond's just gross, like just these unlikable creatures. Like, if you don't support the blacks, then you have to be a contrarian. You have to be doing it on purpose to be different.
Yeah, there's no way you can actually root for the Greens to win and be telling the truth. You're lying.
Which is sad for me because I would like to be a little torn.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun when you were like, oh, whose side am I rooting for? Like even though season 7 of Game of Thrones was a stinker in a lot of ways. Like, there was a little bit of conflict, I felt, where it's just like, oh, I don't want Jon to give up his throne, but at the same time, I want Dany to be queen.
Yeah.
So one of these two things is going to have to give.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting conflict. Here, I'm just like, Rhaenyra, let's chop, let's go.
Let's win. Like, I think Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, that universe has always been about conflict, not necessarily good versus evil, but human versus human.
Right.
And we're looking at this with Rhaenyra, who loves all of her sons, who really worries about the small folk. And then we have Alicent with her 2 flop children that are starved, that just don't care and are kind of sociopathic. Like, it does feel like good versus evil in a sense.
But that doesn't wrap up episode 6 because Jace's plan is episode 5. Jace's plan is to get the dragon riders because they do technically have more dragons on Dragonstone than the Greens have. So if they can't win the number on the field, they're going to win it in the sky, is their idea. And then the other plan is actually... Mysaria has been kind of interesting for me. I mean, we're going to talk about it in episode 6. There's a weird scene. And not for the reason. Like, it's not a homophobic reason. It's the Bill. We'll talk about it. But
talking a lot right now. You're saying a lot of things right now, Jared.
But Mysaria's plan of making the small folk love Rhaenyra again, I think, is really smart.
Yeah.
Like, they are playing the game the best way they can because they don't have the number advantage. And I think in episode 6, Mysaria is like, well, what's Aemon going to do? Burn down his own city? Like, so I think that there's some good playing happening there.
I understand that there's like a mental game with who wins the favor of the small folk. But it is also unrealistic to me how Rhaenyra doesn't have an army. Because remember, the North pledged to her?
Yeah.
And the Vale pledged to her? Did anybody else? I don't think so.
But the North and the Vale are a problem on their own. Like, they're big. Are they not big at this time period? Because the North and the Vale are huge in Game of Thrones era. Like, huge issues.
Right. And they have sworn swords. And they've sworn their allegiancy to Rhaenyra. So they should be providing an army. And Rhaenyra just says, I have no army. Which does not make sense. Because she does have an army. Where is it?
And also, like, based on the gold that Daemon is spending to rebuild Harrenhal, and then also, like, the amount of gold it must have cost to buy all the produce that they sent in episode 6, they don't seem super strapped for cash like the Greens are. So, like, why not? I don't know. Like, if numbers are really the issue, send for the Golden Company.
Yeah.
Like, send for some... They'll do it. If you show up with a dragon, like, they already have Targaryen loyalty. Kind of. They have Blackfire loyalty. But...
And they have the Valerians. They have the fleet.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be a perfect thing. Bring the ships over, have them on, and you have an army now.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe that hasn't happened yet. Maybe I'm getting my Game of Thrones timeline confused. How old is the...
It's a little bit of a plot hole, maybe. I also don't know how much gold Rhaenyra has. Nobody's made that very clear.
But clearly, they're not as poor as King's Landing is right now.
Is Landing poor?
Yeah, because King's Landing can't afford to feed anybody.
Right, because, okay, we didn't say this, but basically Aemon, his first decision as regent was to close the gates of King's Landing.
Dude, he is on a Cersei mission to be as bad as possible of a leader and, like, as quickly as possible. How quickly can I speed run making all these bad decisions?
No, oh my God. But that's what it feels like. It feels like we have the choice between a girl boss feminine queen who works hard and is empathetic, and two kings who are on the fast track for making the worst possible decisions in the shortest amount of time.
It's just like, I'd be confused, dude. At this point, I'd be looking at them and like, are you sure you're Viserys' kids? Because like, Viserys and Jaehaerys ruled for like, what, 160 years or something of peace together? And it's like, you guys can't get it. Like, you guys can't do anything. Like, what's happening here?
I mean, it kind of just shows that they just didn't have very good parenting because, I mean, Alicent, they asked her to step down. Or what does Aemon do? Aemon removes her
from the council so she'd be more useful in domestic pursuits.
I'm screaming. You raised your son to be one of those dude bro podcasters.
Put him on the red pill ideology.
Yes! Oh my God! And so she's obviously insecure. She goes and asks Wayne, her brother, about her last son.
Oh, I guess we should preface, we're starting episode 6 review stuff now. Okay, we're moving into episode 6 stuff.
Sorry, we moved on. But it's just like, the one son who is not a flop is the one who she has not raised.
That actually is a heartbreaking scene. Like, okay, there's a couple things before we get to it.
I'm sorry, I skipped.
Yeah, but, okay, so we talked about Daemon having the nightmares. He blames Simon Strong. He can't even quantify the fact that Alice Rivers might be behind this. But Alice is just like, because Daemon's like, what do I do? All my bad decisions are catching up to me. Oh my God, like, how am I going to turn this around? And that line that she's just like, oh, you can't do anything. But wait 3 days and the winds are going to change. And then 3 days later, it's revealed that she went to River Run and did something to Oscar Tully? Grover Tully. Grover Tully.
Oh, did you know that Georgia
Muppets?
And after the
Yeah. Isn't there an Elmo too?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Prime George R. R. Martin.
That's so my favorite. But dude, she was quick. She was just like, what is their relationship? What is this? Every time I see this on screen, I'm like, what am I watching? Like, do they want to bang? Like, what is happening? I'm so confused between this relationship between him and Alice. But Alice put a
something, Jared, that we like to call a friend.
No, not like that. Not the way that they're acting.
Yeah, they're strange. I think, what if she's like tormenting him? What if that's their relationship? Is she tortures him? Is that?
Well, I mean, she definitely probably broke his perception of her because now she just killed, or he has to understand, and he does understand. He has that moment of like revelation that she did something to Grover Tully, and now that problem in the Riverlands is done.
When he figured that out, he wept. Matt Smith cried.
Yeah, dude, I was like, oh, this boy is not okay.
I don't know, but maybe this means something will actually happen next episode.
I mean, I think that River Run is probably gonna fold quicker to Daemon. Because Daemon's already in the area.
Yeah.
And has the dragon, and Oscar Tully, the grandson or whatever, that's going to become in charge now that Grover's dead, already is kind of scared of Daemon. So like, he's probably going to tell everybody, hey, we're fighting for Daemon.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When that happens, the fact that the story ends the way it does is kind of embarrassing.
How so?
Because now you have the exact formula. When you have the Riverlands under your control, you have the exact formula that Robert Baratheon had for taking over King's Landing the first time, and he did it without dragons. Like, minus the Stormlands, but the Stormlands are awful, so who cares? Like,
wow.
You have dragons. That should make up for the Stormland fighters or whatever. You know, like, the fact that the story plays out the way it does is whatever.
So I think they're going to take the Riverlands, and then the next step will be King's Landing.
But we did get to see Casterly Rock for the second time in Game of Thrones history, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, he showed up with they showed up with the Lannisters showed up with a lion, like a lion.
Which is like, is that what they did? Is that like referenced anywhere in any of the books that they would just release wild lions onto the battlefield? I don't imagine they did.
Are lions even like, is that what the word is? But do lions
Like
even
domesticated? Like, can they follow instructions?
Yeah, but aren't lions endemic to Africa?
Yeah, but I mean, where are dragons from? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, that's true.
we're not in the...
I bet. Okay.
But I don't think you can domesticate a lion. Like, I don't think that you can train them like a horse.
I don't think that those are domesticated. I think they're just either for show or for war.
Yeah, but it's like, you're going to risk killing your own people for what? You know, like, they're just going to attack whatever's closest to them. And
Maybe
it's going to be you.
Yeah.
But
it's not on my show.
Jason Lannister got Aemon heated by sending that letter, come with haste. He was mad. He was like, you're going to order around your king? Like, he did not understand the message correctly.
Well, I think that actually Jason Lannister has like a point.
Yeah, come on. Come over here with Aemon. Let's go get Harrenhal. As quick.
Yeah.
Come over here with Vhagar.
How is he going to fight an army with...
And Caraxes is there. Like,
and Caraxes is there. Like, if they didn't have Caraxes, he would do it. But I feel like with Caraxes, it is logical. As Allison points out, logical to wait for a dragon escort.
But Aemon is so torn because, like, all season long, Aemon's wanted the smoke with Daemon. Mm-hmm. And then Jason's like, hey, we're going to go fight Daemon. You want to come? And then he's just like, how dare you order me around? I'm like, is this not what you wanted? Like, for weeks of this war, you said you wanted to fight Daemon? And
I don't think he wants to fight Daemon.
He does. He said it. He's like, oh, I would have great joy in killing Daemon or whatever. Which, like, if anyone on the Greens can.
What?
If anyone on the Greens can, it's Aemon. Like...
I think Aemon's afraid. I think Aemon's lusty bravado, like, ooh, I could take him, but he can't take him.
But I think Aemon is nice. Like, I think he's supposed to be the Green's best fighter.
But Daemon is still Daemon.
Is he?
He's old.
He's tripping. Like, listen, if you put LeBron James on psychedelic drugs for 3 weeks, made him not eat or drink, I could probably beat him in a basketball game. All right? Like, if he was like, he hadn't slept well in 3 weeks, he hasn't been eating his food because he believes it's poisoned, and he hasn't drank water, he'd be cramping up and down the court. I probably could win.
But Aemon doesn't know that. Like, Aemon doesn't know.
Okay. But Aemon's plan all of a sudden became, let's go take Harrenhal, even though when he was a council, like when he was just on the council, he was like, Harrenhal's useless, like, let Daemon have it.
That's what I truly don't understand about Aemon's character, is Aemon had a lot of great ideas as a, when he was like an assistant.
Yeah.
And now it is Aegon that had the dumb ideas. And now that Aemon's in charge, all of a sudden he's making these really stupid decisions that don't make any sense and go against everything he thought before.
And, like, I don't know. I brought up this point, and I brought it up when we were watching the episode yesterday, where it's like, for some reason, kings can never seem to rule in the right era. Mm-hmm. Where, like, Aemon is good at, or, I mean, allegedly, he's good at war. From what we've seen, the decisions he was making on the battlefield, the Rook's Rest plan, all of that stuff was his idea. So, like, in that regard, he's good at war. But it was actually, like, Aegon that was like, oh, yeah, we should probably keep our promises to the people, send them sheep, like, let's return some of the sheep, let's promise these people. So it's like, he understands how to work the small folk, whether or not it's from the good of his heart is kind of irrelevant. Like, he knows how to use them to his advantage, and Aemon's just like, yeah, I don't care. Like, why are they mad at us? Shouldn't they be mad at Rhaenyra? And I'm like, no, you're the king. Like, they're mad at you because you're out here eating lamb, like lamb ribs or whatever.
So I actually think that it's not that Aemon's party. First of all, Aemon is a PR flop.
Mm-hmm.
second, Massaria is a PR queen, and I think Massaria. Do you remember when they in the episode 5 they sent Rhaenyra's handmaiden to King's Landing?
Yeah.
I think that was Massaria's plan to. I think the handmaiden went to the Lady of the Night,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lady of the Night is now spreading these rumors, as we saw, that Aemon is feasting while everybody else starves.
I loved that scene. That was a good scene. The way that she was just talking. I mean, that's brave to just go out there talking against the king in the middle of public, but like everyone was like with her. So like the small folk have no love for the Greens.
And I'm guessing that she's done that at a lot of different places, like around the city.
Right. Because they are pissed. Like, I think that of all the strategies that Rhaenyra and her council have had this entire season, this is easily their best and most like well-executed plan. Like, plant the seeds that the Greens suck, you're starving, you're doing like all of these, they're feasting up there, and you are just like, you're an afterthought to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then follow it up with the delivery of the food to be all like, but you're not an afterthought to Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra cares about you. She understands that this war is really hard on the small folk, and I'm gonna take care of you. Like, this was a really good play in terms of
I would agree that it's a really good play, but might I also say her second play ever.
Yeah. Because the first one, not good. Let me go speak to Alicent. Sneak me into the city. So she's 1 for 1.
So dumb. Sending Rhaenys with no backup.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so she's 1 good idea to 2 bad ideas. Okay.
Exactly. So, I don't know.
But this one was good. And honestly, like I know we were talking earlier, it's just like, what are the small folk gonna do? But apparently almost killed the queens. Like, they almost killed Alicent and Helena. Like,
They could have done it.
and you could instantly see Alicent's mind trying to work into realizing just how much of a bind she just got put in. Because if she orders her Kingsguard to go start chopping down small folk people, like to protect her, Alicent's out here killing the small folk. But if she doesn't order them to do anything, she's gonna get killed in the riot. So it was tough, the pressure that immediately came out of that.
Well, the Kingsguard that chopped off that guy's hands.
Yeah.
There's a running theory that he is actually the Shepherd, which is a future character that comes in and helps, like, kind of lead this huge uprising against the Targaryens. So I wonder if they're going to bring back that actor, or if maybe that had no relation.
I don't know. I don't think we got a good enough look at his face for me to, like, imprint on, like, the importance of that guy as a character.
Right.
But we'll see. Aemon actually realizes, though, that he is not great with the small folk, because he's a weirdo, and he's not great with anyone except for that one in the brothel.
The one spreading rumors, right? Wasn't that the same lady?
I don't think so. What?
Yes, it was. I think so. That was the same, Lady of the Night. I don't know what to call her.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because Aemon really trusted her. If that is actually her, that's unfortunate. But Larys is like, hey, Aemon, do you need a hand? And then Aemon's like, no, I'm already a weirdo. I don't need another weirdo as my hand. Like, go get my grandpa. Like, we need...
That's the way you could have put that.
We need some normal people here at this table to sort some stuff out, because it's a mess right now.
But the way Aemon broke that news to Larys was so, like, brutal for no reason.
He said, you're right. I do need help. Go find somebody who can help me.
Yes, like, go be the little messenger boy that goes to get Granddad.
And the fact that Otto has been ghosting his whole family is hilarious. He does not have any time for it.
It doesn't make sense for him, for character-wise, to ghost his family.
I mean, like, Alicent didn't have a hand in dismissing, like, her dad. That was all Aegon, because Otto was talking too much, and then he was like, you're not doing anything. Get out of here. And, like, but, like, Alicent was against that decision.
No, I agree. Like, Aegon made a mistake, and now Otto's pouting about it, but, like, it was Aemond and Alicent didn't really have anything to do with that. So I don't know what he's so butthurt about. Or maybe he's in trouble. We don't know what he's doing.
I hope it's that he's ghosting him. I want to cut to Highgarden or like whatever, Old Town. And I want to see the Raven come in with the letter. He takes the letter, he sees the stamp of the king, and then he throws it in the fire. Like, I just want him to be that petty. Like, that's what I want to see.
That would be way hilarious than if he's in trouble. Way more funny.
But this kind of goes back to the point that we were talking about when we opened up the episode 6 discussion, which is like Alicent goes to the courtyard. You think she's going to go talk to Kristen, which I think was the original plan, but then she gets like distracted by Gwaine, and then the conversation turns to Darian. And then Gwaine's like, oh yeah, since you didn't actually have any influence on Darian, he turned out to be great. Like, all the girls like him, he's a great fighter, he's well-read, he's kind. And like, Alicent's like, damn, I really do suck. Because I had 3 kids, and none of them came out well. But
I
this fourth one had no influence.
What? Well, she's also just grateful that her sons weren't a flop, you know?
Do you think that's what she's feeling? Because I don't think that's what she's feeling. I think she's like, because because he's trying to, Gwaine's actually being way nicer to Alicent in this moment than I probably would have been, considering I've been overlooked for Alicent. I'd been overlooked by Alicent, or in favor of Alicent for my entire life. Where he's trying to be all like, no, it's not you, it's the court, it's the Red Keep, it just turns people mean. And then Alicent's like, is it the Red Keep, or is it their mother? You know, and then Gwaine's like, oh, I'm sure you did everything you could. Which
true. I think Alicent might be feeling a little bit of both. Sad that she's a failure as a mother, but also happy that one of her sons was not influenced. So I'm guessing she's feeling a lot of mixed emotions.
But it's interesting that, like, Aemond doesn't even think about Darian, which is like, he seems to be very power hungry. He went over there to threaten Aegon, to be all like, what do you remember? Oh, I don't remember anything. Good answer, kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I'm surprised he's not out here putting a hit on his younger brother at this point. Like, anyone that could possibly succeed him, I'm surprised he hasn't done anything to him. Which I'm wondering if that's what the name drop is for, so we can later learn, oh, Darian was killed in an assassination attempt or something. Like,
no, they're going to do something with him without it. But it's so interesting because Jacaerys remembers his younger brother so much, right?
Yeah.
Like a big... That's why he wants Rhaenyra to win. Aemond has 0 thoughts on Darian. Like,
yeah, just does not even think about it. He's like, oh, I do have a younger brother. Shit. I forgot about that.
Here, I would kill him.
But, that scene, the Maesters are like, oh, Aegon is recovering so well. He's waking up. He's able to speak a little bit. And Aemond's like, oh, is that so? He's speaking, you say. Shows up to the hospital wing, immediately starts to bully him.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. And what does Alicent say when she's dismissed? She holds him by the cheek and is like, have your childhood indignities poisoned you so? Or
so it's like, yeah, have they not already been wrought? Like write it or something. Like
Aemond is the kid in school who was bullied and now becomes a bully.
Yeah, he immediately saw an opportunity to bully Aegon for once instead of the other way around, and he was like, oh, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, and that's when Larys comes.
Mm-hmm.
Because Larys is pissed off he wasn't chosen his hand, and Aegon's afraid of his younger brother.
Yeah, and Aegon has a relationship with Larys, whereas Aemon's just like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, I know I know you're untrustworthy. I'm not an idiot. Like, you're not going to play me. So, like, Larys is like, okay, mistake. Need to get Aegon back on the throne immediately. This is not good. Because Larys is the one that hyped Aegon to go to war in the first place.
Right.
Where he's just like, oh, the streets are talking, and they're saying you're a bitch. Like...
Oh, my God. No. Larys saved Aegon's butt, or at least tried to. For a little bit. I mean, they do have that relationship, and Larys would have served well as hand besides Kristen. Probably better than Kristen. But we also get some interesting backstory on Larys as he talks to Aegon.
Yeah.
Wow. Am I skipping ahead too much?
No, it's fine. It's just I was like, in it with all of my heart, Laris, I don't care about your backstory.
I would agree with that.
Like, I don't care. I don't care what happened to you. I don't care that the world was unfair to you. I don't care about, like, you're a bad person. So I don't care. Like,
he was like talking, and I think it was supposed to be this really deep moment where you're like connecting with this really twisted soul. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm happy you suffered. Like,
I'm like, I would have so much more understanding, I guess, for you if Harwin treated you badly and then you killed him. But it's like, from every interaction we've seen, Harwin was like, that's my little brother, and I'm going to take care of him, and no one's going to hurt him in my house. And like, he's so kind to Laris. And then Laris is like, no, I'm killing you anyway for power. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I forget. Laris is Jace and Joffrey's uncle.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
And it was dumb. You know what I mean? Like, dumb. Stupid.
Yeah.
Also, Aegon's lying, right? Aegon's lying to protect himself when he says he doesn't remember anything, because ain't no way he doesn't know.
What is he gonna do? Look at his brother-in-law and say, yes, I remember that he tried to kill me.
Well, I can't defend myself or run away or do anything. Like,
yeah. Like, and I could pass away at any moment, regardless of you hating me or not. Like,
yeah, just... Okay. Aemon dismisses Alicent from the council. When we get back, Alicent's like, oh, you're such a petty little jerk. Get out of here. But she leaves. And then Aemon's like, we got to go seek a... Okay. When they reference this group in season 1, I was like, this is not actually going to be a constant thread in the storyline. But how many times does Daemon need to go over there and kill the Triarchy for them to stop being annoying? Like, why is this an issue again? Like, didn't Daemon already go over there and wreak havoc, like, twice? How many times does he have to go deal with the people at the Stepstones? I don't understand.
Yeah, Daemon will have to do it again if Aemon's plan succeeds.
Like, seeks a truth with the Triarchy. Whatever. I don't care about any of this. Okay, so it's like Aemon's council, don't care. Rhaenyra can't grow her army at all.
Doesn't make sense.
Corlys is trying to... I don't know what this goal... He's trying to what? Like, build a relationship now with his bastard sons?
Yeah, so there's Alan and Adam, right? The older one's Alan. And you see him shaving his head.
Because he has the white hair.
Yeah, Alan has Valerian hair.
Yeah.
And he's raising up Alan, but Adam's kind of jealous from the corner.
Right. But, like, Adam is going to be the one that has more Targaryen claim after the preview. So...
Yeah, because remember how we talked about Rhaenyra had like 3 ideas and it was bad, good?
Yeah.
Rhaenyra also had or I guess it was Jace's ideas about the dragon. Mm-hmm. About can a commoner ride a dragon?
Which, okay, to me, this is the situation. This is how I would do it, right? If I had to do it this way, I'd be like, okay, here's the deal. You want the dragon and you think you can claim it. You're allowed to. But you're a Targaryen now.
Ooh, that's a good...
You have to forsake your house or whatever. You have to get rid of your next male heir becomes in charge of whatever house you're a part of. You join House Targaryen as the last in line of succession or whatever. You know, but you're a Targaryen. You fly our colors. You fight for our side. You listen to me. You want the dragon? Those are the deals. You know, that's the deal.
Because it makes sense. Because if we're going to give you so much power, then you need to be connected to us.
Or you can be on the Valerian side. Like Adam and Alan don't have to do anything. If they get dragons, they just ascend to be Valerian. Like, you just get the name. But, like, if you're not Valerian or you're not Targaryen, like, you become Targaryen. Like, you are...
I think that's the idea. Or you need to be involved in some sort of marriage or something, because it's too big of a chance to give to someone who might turn on.
Yeah. Like, also, outside of one character who's going to have an actual threat of a dragon, one person on a dragon is not that big of a deal. Like, Adam on Sea Smoke is not going to be a rebellion-sized dragon. But, like, the person who's going to ride Vermithor, that could cause problems.
Oh, big problem.
Like, so we need to be more careful with that.
But first, Stefan Darkling is introduced as this very gallant, loyal.
God, you and Katie were so hopeful for this character.
It was really lovely.
I was like, oh, I knew as soon as he saw Sea Smoke, I'm like, this guy's cooked.
Yeah, they're like,
over.
We're just like, oh, he's dead. Dead man walking.
I was just like, I know this. I know Sea Smoke is not about to pick this guy to be his rider. Like, there's just no way.
Well, the thing about Sea Smoke is when it smoked and did all the fire, the dragon, what's the dragon people? The dragon keeper was prepared. The dragon keeper had a knife to slit his own throat.
Ended it. Because it was less painful that way.
Stefan Darkling burnt to death.
Yeah. Which, okay, this is my question. Was it that he was too hesitant? Like, because Sea Smoke showed him the saddle, like, if he had just, like, ran and got onto it, do you think Sea Smoke would have been like, yeah, that's the courage that I need?
No, I think
was it
a
bait?
A bait. I think Sea Smoke was baiting him, so,
Because Sea Smoke left and then was like, I'm going to choose my own rider. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to go find one. Like,
and it did.
Yeah, he found himself a Valerian hiding.
And I thought that little clip was just very well done, where he looks up and there's like a bird, and then all of a sudden, dragon appears.
Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that whole interaction. Actually, that was really scary. He looked a lot like Drogon to me, which is kind of funny. I've seen that comparison a lot. Yeah,
they probably only don't have the money for all these different dragons. Like,
they're just reusing assets.
Exactly.
But so Adam is going to get a dragon, and Rhaena is about to get a dragon because there is a dragon in the Vale that Jane Eyre knew about.
Yes.
That's crazy. That, like, she knew about it and didn't say anything.
But it's a wild dragon. It's not like it's trained or anything.
Still, who better to wrangle a dragon? Like, what if the deal, like, wouldn't the better deal have been, hey, Rhaenyra, listen, I have a random dragon soaring around the Vale destroying stuff for me. Yeah. So here's the deal. I'll join your cause. I will, foster your kid here at the Eyrie if you send someone who can take care of this dragon. Claim it, ride it, kill it. I don't care what you do.
Well, I'm not sure who Rhaenyra would send because there's no more Targaryens left is the problem. I mean,
you feel like that would have been information you would have given to her, though.
That's true. Lady Jane did admit that for, like, no good reason. But I think you know why she admitted that information?
Why? Tell me.
Because now Rhaena can have her horse girl moment.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. That was a pretty funny revelation where you're just like, horse girl.
No, literally, it's like, this poor girl, everybody has a horse except for Rhaena. But then Rhaena gets the wildest horse of them all. She sees this wonderful stallion or something, and she wants to tame it. Like, it's giving horse girl energy. Her whole arc to go tame this dragon. I'm just telling you, it's just going to be a horse girl thing.
So then Rhaena is going to get this sheep-stealing dragon, right?
I really think this dragon is sheep stealer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. I was really pulling for the cannibal, though. I want to see the cannibal. I need to see this giant dragon. Like,
well, they don't have cannibal, right?
I think it's in Dragonstone.
They're not going to introduce him, though.
But I want to see him.
I want it.
Dragon is supposed to be a menace. But so, she's probably going to get Sheep Stealer. Adam is going to ride Sea Smoke. So that leaves Silverwing and Vermithor still up for grabs.
Right. I think they're going to omit cannibal completely.
I'll be upset, but whatever. It is what it is.
Oh, well.
I want the hammer.
No, because the hammer is evil, right?
The hammer is complex. I don't want to say evil, but
Wasn't the right Vermithor?
I want the hammer. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, some night comes to inform Rhaenyra that someone has tamed Sea Smoke.
Yeah. Hilarious. Well, no. There's a couple things that happen before being told someone has tamed Sea Smoke. One is that she slaps her Master of Coin so hard. I was like, thank God, Rhaenyra, finally. What was that line that she was just like, oh, I think in my kindness, I forgot to remind you all that you need to fear me or whatever. I was like,
yes. I don't love her.
Rhaenyra, because he was talking crazy. He was like, your plans suck. Your strategies, whack. Your outfit, whack. Your armies, whack. And then she's just like...
And she was like, whack. You want to see whack? I'll show you whack.
Physically whacked. And then, let's see, she gets upset about that. She runs to her quarters where one of the strangest things just... Okay. Rhaenyra and Mysaria is actually, sadly...
oh, no.
It's the healthiest relationship I think Rhaenyra has left. It's definitely healthier than any of her other romantic relationships, at least.
I think Mysaria is the most useful person on Rhaenyra.
Oh, for sure. She's the only one whose plans are working.
And they have built up a sort of relationship over the past couple episodes.
Felt a little quick, but also, like, so did Kristen Cole and, like, we didn't even see her spend any time with, Harwin, so speed is not the issue.
At least Rhaenyra is spending time with Mysaria. And in Rhaenyra's moment of weakness, where she's like, I can't control my son, I don't think I can win the throne, Mysaria steps up and is like, hey, I believe in you.
Yeah, but it's just like, there's not that many, like, good people in the world, but it's like, I'm choosing to believe that you're a good person, and so I'll support your claim until my death kind of thing.
Yeah, like, you are steadfast and I will follow you until I die.
And, like, you know, their plans have worked, the food shipment has worked, the getting the information in has worked. Even if it was stupid, Mysaria even did successfully get Rhaenyra into King's Landing. Like, if there's somebody that she trusts, it's Mysaria to do the right thing.
And Mysaria is not only trustworthy, she's effective.
Yeah.
She gets it done, whether it's dumb or not. But we also get some backstory on Mysaria, really tragic backstory.
Horrific. One of the worst backstories that, like, we've heard on Game of Thrones. Like, nasty.
Yeah. Like, her father, like, raped her, and then she was pregnant, but something happens.
But then I think he did something to her to get rid of the baby. And then as a result of that, she can no longer have kids due to whatever it was that he did to her.
Yeah, because she has some sort of scar, she mentioned. But Rhaenyra, upon hearing this, gives her a hug.
The hug was great. I was like, oh, look at that. Finally, like, some emotional...
I was like, yes, women supporting women. Like...
And then I was like, I am not against this relationship, but how did that speech turn you on? I was like, I don't understand.
Like, after someone trauma dumps on you, I think you want to give them, like, a cup of tea, give them a hug.
Like,
I think kissing their neck.
Just like, what are we doing?
The relationship vaguely, I guess, makes sense. But why would you have it happen after that?
It's my favorite relationship that Rhaenyra has had. Like, I'm glad that she has somebody that, like, loves and trusts her.
Well, it's hell of a lot healthier than Daemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember in season 1 when Rhaenyra and Laenor are on the beach and they realize they're going to be betrothed?
Yeah.
Rhaenyra has this whole spiel where she's like, listen, some people like roast goose and others don't. And I don't like, I don't like roast goose, but you might, and I'm fine with that. So
I guess she likes roast goose, man.
I guess she likes roast goose now or something. It does feel like they're going back on something.
That's not in the books, so.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, she might, I think I wrote a short on this, that she might have had a fling with Daemon and Lena, though. She might have had a threesome with them.
Oh.
Maybe. But a lot of the things in the books.
Yeah, it's word of mouth.
Yeah, and so the writer's like, well, this might have happened. So-and-so said this, but like, we're really not sure. But because the other person said this thing, and they weren't present in the dungeon when they made that claim, so it doesn't make sense.
It's just, it was just so strange that I was like, what about that turned you on? What about that did that for you? You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess they viewed it as like a moment of connection, but
yeah,
it wasn't the right time or place. I think that if it had been better executed, more people would be on board with this.
But I'm on board. This relationship is fine. Like, it's not going to work out because I'm sure one of them is going to die shortly at this point with the way the show's going. But actually, maybe not, because I thought the show was only going to be 3 seasons, but apparently not. Like, it looks like it's got a lot more to go.
I think they're going to go all the way up until the end of Fire and Blood.
So how many seasons do you think that is? 5?
5
seasons, yeah. I thought it was going to be 3, so I was surprised that they were doing more romance angles, but whatever. If they have the time to build it out, all good.
Well, they'll stop kicking this horse once it stops spitting out money, right?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get... Well, isn't the next one Dunk and Egg? A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Or whatever?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
That one's gonna be great when we get that. But anyway, the last scene is the riot in King's Landing. And
that is definitely not. The last scene is Rhaenyra flying off to go find Alan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The riot in King's Landing is before that. Because don't we cut in between? I feel like we cut.
I know, the last scene is Rhaenyra, the kiss gets interrupted, remember?
Right.
And they look at the ground.
Like little teenagers. It was so cute.
So cringe. I don't know about cute.
It was cute. It was a cute moment. Rhaenyra's like, oh.
Yeah, they both just like look at the ground. And then they say, Sea Smoke has a rider. We're not sure who it is.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because Masari originally comes in to say the food has made it to King's Landing and there's been a riot. And, Allison, just stop taking Helena out. I don't know what it is about you, but you're an unlucky charm. Every time she goes out with you, she has to suffer some terrible trauma.
We're right. Poor Allison was trying to form like a mother-daughter bond, and every time she does,
it's like my baby's head almost falls off, and like I almost get I almost get killed in a riot. Like,
I remember when we were theorizing how the cheese could have been way more more bad. Maybe this is what finally tips Helena over the edge.
Yeah, where she's just like, I can't, Mom. I can't.
Yeah.
Send me to Old Town. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But Helena's not a dragon rider either, right?
She is. She just doesn't.
Is her dragon Dreamfire?
Yes.
Oh, her dragon's Dreamfire. Okay.
But she's crazy, so at least in the book, she's crazy, so she doesn't ride Dreamfire.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyway, overall, I thought episode 5 was the worst episode we've gotten all season, and episode 6 was better.
5 was just boring. I thought it was the worst episode, not even in the season, but like the whole show.
I don't know. I just feel so far. I guess they have the penultimate and the ultimate. So like they have the last 2 episodes, and normally in Game of Thrones, the last 2 episodes really cook. But like this season overall has been not as fun for me as season 1 was. Like we haven't gotten anything really that I think has blown me away. Like Rook's Rest was cool. but it's not
Yep.
something I haven't seen before in a Game of Thrones production.
No, Rook's Rest, I think watching the dragons fight, I think has been really exciting for me.
But like, I do feel like the dragons fighting is the main appeal of the show. And we have not seen very many dragons fighting yet.
Yeah.
And I need to see some more action. And I'm hoping that this battle at Harrenhal, or what we assume to be this battle at Harrenhal, turns out to be fun.
Well, if we're on to predictions, I think that Kristen is in for Crispin. I don't think a land army is going to be able to defeat Daemon.
I'm also interested in... Actually, I'll ask you off camera because that's a major spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it here. But if this battle coming up is the battle that I'm thinking about, then it's gonna have like massive implications for what goes on in season 3 and forward, because we will be losing a couple of pretty important characters.
Yeah.
But with that, Caroline, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Hopefully we'll get episode 7 out a little quicker. Her background will change again, so, don't get used to this. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.